Great. Thank you. First, I want to welcome everyone, both in person and remotely. I see we have about 25 people remotely, and those in person, to the last or fifth of our town hall meetings that we've been holding across West County to give input on how the county will invest $1 million of former federal ARPA dollars in West County or in my supervisorial district. I'm going to explain more about this and some other issues related to this, but I want to first acknowledge the City of San Pablo for hosting this meeting at the council chambers and allowing us to have the ability to broadcast it by Zoom. And we work in partnership with our cities, and so I want to acknowledge that, and I want to also turn it over to the Vice Mayor of the City of San Pablo, Elizabeth Pabon Alvarado, who's going to give a brief welcome. Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you. And just briefly, I just want to say thank you for attending this very, very important information. We welcome 100% your feedback. I'm so honored that we in San Pablo can host this. And we hope that this is not the last one that we do for other available fundings. So please feel comfortable. If you're too cold, let us know. We'll lower the air conditioner. And also, if you're not aware, but there's a restroom right over here to your left if you need to go. And as you all know, there's already pizza and water and all the good stuff. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll just pass it over.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you for your leadership and work on issues. I know we have a great partnership between the county and the City of San Pablo, and that is important to us, and we appreciate the leadership of the City Council. So thank you, Vice Mayor. So I'm going to say a few words. I've been normally attending these meetings in person, but I am out of town in my role with the California State Association of Counties, attending some meetings. I have to go into a meeting shortly, a dinner meeting, so I'm going to stay on as long as I can, but my staff are there, and I want to acknowledge my Chief of Staff, Sonia Bustamante, and my other staff, Robert Rogers, Ronnie Mills, and Tanya Polito, all of whom are there, either in the back room or in the front there. And what we've been doing is holding these meetings to get input about how we develop a grant application process for this funding. So let me say a little bit about the funding. Back during the pandemic, the federal government provided a substantial amount of funding to both cities and the county to address issues related to the pandemic and to achieve equity in communities. The county has currently about $5 million countywide in a fund from these former federal funding dollars that are not spent. We may have other funding, which I'll talk about later. And the Board of Supervisors made a decision to have each supervisorial district go through a process to get input about how $1 million would be spent in each supervisorial district. So for me, the district includes Kensington, El Cerrito, San Pablo, Richmond, North Richmond, Pinole, El Sobrante, Terra Hills, Montalvan Manor. And we are holding 5 meetings because we really want to get a good amount of public input. We will have discussion of these meetings at a Board of Supervisors meeting. However, we are not going to make a decision on how to allocate these monies until we go through a grant application process. What we are going to do is take all the information from all of you and basically create a very easy grant application process with small grants of probably under $50,000 for smaller organizations, and then grants above $50,000. This is one-time money, so it's not an ongoing allocation. And we view this money to achieve greater equity and close economic and health disparities in West County. $1 million is not a lot of money. We hope to try to leverage this money to get more funding. And our budget at the county is $7 billion. 4 billion of that is health. So you can see 1 million is not a lot. However, I do want to talk about another source of funding that we have available that is also going to go through a grant application process. It I serve on the Air District Board of Directors, and the Air District has a new policy to return 80% of the fines and penalties that we collect of over $1 million back to the community where they were collected. We currently have about $36 million in fines and penalties and health settlement monies collected from Chevron Refinery in Richmond. And the Air District is coming out with guidelines, draft guidelines to the public about how to have a grant application process for those monies. That those guidelines will be approved by the Air District Board in December, and there will be a grant application process for those dollars starting in January. So, for example, there's a lot of health needs we have. So, what we may hear through this process are things that people could also or organizations could apply for from the Air District, and those $36 million. So, what we are also going to do is publicize that application process, which will probably start in January. Um, so we also have allocated money through our Measure X sales tax, um, of which we've created some grant processes, which may also be alternative monies for some of the needs we see. So what we are going to do is look at what applications may come in for this $1 million. And for example, if it's the type of project that may get funded under the Air District's funding, we will work with that applicant to have them apply for the Air District. So just wanting you to know, these are not the only funds that are specifically targeted for West County to improve health outcomes and to provide community benefit. As I say, this other $36 million from the Air District, we are going to have a process for that. We're recording all these meetings. I see there are comments in the chat. So we are keeping track, right, of all the comments that are provided, whether you've provided them in person or through Zoom or in the chat. And we will use that as we put together a grant application process. So let me do this. Let me stay on to answer some questions people have. And people, again, can provide input. All my staff is there. Public agencies or nonprofits are going to be eligible to apply. If you're a nonprofit that does not have a 501(c)(3), you'll be able to apply through a fiscal agent. So we want to be as flexible as possible with these monies. So with that, Sonia, should we open it up to people who want to start providing comments? And I will stay on for as long as I can to answer questions before turning it over to you.
Yeah, that's great. Since more and more people I see are joining on Zoom, I see we have almost 40 people on Zoom. I think I'd like to ask the interpreters one more time to just do their speech on connecting, just to make sure everyone is connecting the way they need to on Zoom.
And by the way, let me just say, I want to emphasize that we are going to talk about other funding sources as well. For example, I noticed a comment from Richmond Land talking about prioritizing community land trust for affordable housing. Well, we put $12 million every year, not one-time money, into an affordable housing trust fund for those types of things. So some of the input we're going to receive tonight may be funded. Some of the issues you raise may be funded with other existing funding sources. And I want to stress that because $1 million is not going to cover all the needs we have. So we will link people to other funding sources that frankly is in the tens of millions of dollars and some of it on an ongoing basis. So don't expect everything to get funded out of $1 million.
Okay, Noemi.
Yeah.
Buenas tardes o buenas noches. Si se acaban de unir a la reunión en Zoom, les invitamos a que por favor se conecten a un canal de idiomas. Si se conectó en computadora, verá un globo terráqueo en la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Por favor, pulse ese globo terráqueo que dice interpretación y seleccione español. Si se conectó usted en un dispositivo móvil, ya sea un teléfono inteligente, tableta o iPad, la opción de interpretación está en el menú más o los tres puntitos. Diríjase ahí y busque interpretación o interpretación de idiomas. Seleccione el idioma que prefiere y luego no se olvide de oprimir finalizar o done. If you just joined us, we have interpretation into English and into Spanish so that you can hear each other whether you share in English or you share in Spanish. And so we invite you to look for the globe icon if you are on a mobile device, look for the more menu. There, look for language interpretation, select your language, and then press done. If you connected on a computer, look for a globe icon that says interpretation at the bottom of your screen. Select it, select your channel, either English or Spanish, whichever you prefer, and that's it. You should be able to hear the interpretation. And back to you,
Okay.
Supervisor Joya or Sonia.
Thank you, Noemi. Okay, Supervisor Joy, would you like to go around the room first and then on Zoom?
Why don't you try that? Yes.
Okay, great. So here in the room. Anybody, Annie?
Thank you, dear Sonia, and good evening, Supervisor Joyer. This is Annie King Meredith from North Richmond, and actually work with other pertaining communities. I have, on the behalf of Don Gilmore, a few things that he would like for me to share, and also from the MAC, and I serve as the vice president for the MAC and wear other hats, also wastewater director. So with that, being an activist of North Richmond for many, many years, it's been several things that has been put on the back burner. And it is very good now that Supervisor Joya has brought this to our communities and to our attention, that it is now for us to pull things off the back burner and to actually start implementing these things in our communities, not just one community, but communities. One of the things that the youth have talked about many times, and they have now grown up in age, but they do have children and have families that are still living in the area. One thing was a gymnasium. What can we do about having and looking at a gymnasium? We are looking at having our soccer field built at Shields Reed so far. So now it's time to look at a gymnasium for the children. The other thing, the grocery store that Congressman Garamendi has been working with us, and also Supervisor Joya, to actually fulfill and have a grocery store on Fred Jackson, due to it being a desert and have to travel out so far to have a good, active grocery store to be there. Thank you, Supervisor Joya, for mentioning what Princess had mentioned about Richmond Land. And as you know, for CHDC, Community Housing Development, that it is funds that has been set aside. So I'm not going to hold up any longer. And if I have anything else to say, I would like to pass it over to everyone else. Okay,
Thank you. Good, all good comments. We're taking note of these. Some of these, as you know, we have some other funding sources as well.
Yes, that's what I was worried about.
Anyone else in the room?
More comments, and remember, folks, all of your comments are being recorded and are being taken down in the way we speak. Daniel Barth.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Daniel Barth. I'm a Richmond. And I would like to tell a quick story about the need for wellness centers for unhoused individuals who otherwise lack access, low barrier access, the essential services that they need, and they need that support. And I suggest that it's peer-based support that is most useful to work with the public agencies and the community-based organizations that need to contact and have relationship with these unhoused individuals. So right over here, rather, San Pablo Library was a location for a wellness center that was peer-based, shut. So I believe it's a really important priority for West County, especially, and of course Central and East. But I'm here talking about in West County and of course in John's district about the need for being able to reach everyone who's unhoused at population scale. And we don't need to talk about how many there are because there's more than we know that there's more than we know out there. And so the goal would be is that we bring services together from the community to a center and get individuals from the encampments to that center. There is one in central Richmond which has limited hours and no funding past December. So I'm advocating on behalf of West County, seeing that we bring services that get people from the tents and move them in RVs and helping them in the pathway on housing, income, and wellness to achieve stable housing. Thank you.
And I'm only going to provide comments if there's a question in there or something I need to clarify, because I want us to go through and hear from as many people, both in person and online, because we're taking all this down.
Thank you so much. Great comments already. And here you go.
My name is Magdalena Brown, working for the district, West Contra Costa Unified School District for 53 years. And I just want to call an attention that sometime I do shopping in the Prime Nutrition Place, which you have here next to San Pablo Avenue. San Pablo Avenue and San Pablo Library. And they have another one in Richmond in 39th Street in Nevin. The fruit and vegetables are very good, very fresh, affordable prices. But the milk, egg, and bread are outrageous. One Bimbo bread costs $6. The worst bread you can ever imagine. The milk, it costs double that you can buy in Trader Joe or grocery outlet or anything. And another thing is eggs, $8 a dozen. In Costco, $2.25 per dozen if you're going to buy more. And this is one thing that I really want to bring up to your attention. They need to check. I think the providers are different people. The fruit and vegetable are very good. And they need to be checked on that because some people are really taking advantage of the food stamp and they're taking the money out of the other articles that are not vegetable and fruit. Another thing I want to bring in attention, I don't know, Mr. Joya, I know you are for everybody. In Richmond, the truck, changing subject, are charging the citizen when the truck that are washing the street, passing every week from that time and that time, the truck doesn't go and clean up, but the ticket, police go and give ticket to every one of them. Do you know that these cities are overcrowded, especially with the housing problem? And across the street, from the same street, 8th between McDonald and Nevin, is once a month, which is a reasonable thing because then the truck really can by and clean up or didn't. But anyway, that giving ticket to the resident where they don't have any place to go, I think is injustice because on the same street in the opposite side, they only have once a week. They need to, once a month. They really need to redistrict those areas where they're going to do the cleaning. I would really appreciate your attention in that, especially the price gouging that is happening in the nutrition center. That is really, I will say, taking a very advantage of the poorest one because they're their ticket that they allow them to have free food doesn't really go and get free food because they only get half of the item that they can get that in another store. Maybe they are ashamed or they don't know that the other store also are accepting food stamp or something like that. Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Joya.
What I'd like to do, Sonia, Robert, is because I've heard a number of some common themes, I'm going to quickly answer some questions or comments that were in the chat. And because these may also address other comments people have. Like Leticia Chavez from North Richmond, a community leader, talks about free medical services for people who live in impacted areas, affordable housing, things like that. So let me just say, we are spending tens of millions of dollars for free health services. So we can look at those funding sources. The $36 million from Chevron is going to be used for health. So I think that we will be looking at those additional medical and health services from specifically how to expand it further. And we already do, as I say, put in $12 million every year for affordable housing related. So we take that seriously, and so there are some funding sources for that. There was a question regarding regarding wildfire mitigation. We already set aside $4.5 million out of Measure X every year. $2 million just goes to homeowners under grants to do wildfire mitigation, and $2.5 million goes to hand crews of the fire district. So we already have a fund to support people who can't afford it. It's $2 million every year. And so we'll help get the word out about those things. I think these are all really good, questions and points. But just saying we will try to link to other funding sources. I know there's a lot of comments in Spanish too. And so Sonia, you may go through them if you need to, but I just wanted to respond to those.
Excellent. Thank you for that follow-up, Supervisor Joya. A lot of great comments already had, and we're having them coming. We're going to go here and then here and then here.
Good afternoon, Supervisor John Joya. My name is Wesley Alexander. I'm the CEO for CoBiz Richmond. I have the privilege of being able to serve small businesses, startups, nonprofits, creatives, and professionals of different socioeconomic backgrounds. One recurring theme that I'm noticing is that budgets are being cut. Businesses and nonprofits are having challenges when it comes to paying payroll, dealing with taxes, and also, dealing with rent, utilities, and also just the increased cost of goods and services. With that said, and considering that ARPA was created in response to the pandemic to drive economic recovery and economic stimulation, I was hoping to encourage you guys to set aside some relief grants to small businesses and nonprofits that are navigating these times, but especially those in underperforming communities, as a way to help them, one, retain employees, but also stay in operations. And this is really important because small businesses truly are the factor that drives resiliency in communities when there are depressions. They are the ones that are the backbones of the economy. So we need to do something that also drives direct and indirect spending in that regard. And lastly, we're also going to great isolation, not just for our elders, not just for professionals, but people across all demographics. So I think it's important to also put aside some funds to the resources in our communities that help people come together so that way they can discover the resources that can support them. So whether it's the San Pablo EDC or spaces in Crockett or spaces like CoBiz or Ride Center, being able to put aside funds to things that bring people together and actually help people figure out a way to navigate these times. Those would be my suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. And Supervisor Joya, did you have a comment or?
No.
Wonderful. Here we go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy Mendez. I am the CEO of Aliados Health. We're a consortium of private community health centers here in Contra Costa and elsewhere. We were formerly known as the Community Clinic Consortium, or 3Cs. And I hope, Supervisor Joya, it's okay to speak about some of the health needs that we see, knowing that there are multiple sources that might contribute to those needs. So the three health centers that we work with, La Clínica de la Raza, Lifelong Medical Care, Brighter Beginnings, two of them operate 6 health centers here in your district, including one right around the corner. And together they provide they serve over 50,000 Contra Costa residents a year. Most are low income, and many have had either no or unreliable health insurance for many years. And they provide a wide range of high quality primary care, dental, optometry, behavioral health, social services to those patients. So I think you all know that community health center patients and other low-income county residents and district residents are under immense and increasing stress right now in many areas, whether it's safety, food security, housing, education, employment, and of course, health and healthcare. So over the next several years, healthcare providers, especially those in the safety net, as our health centers are going to see sharp reductions in their funding as the patients they serve lose Medi-Cal, covered California. Other cuts are implemented in programs like Medicare, and grant funding is curtailed. And then we face challenges in serving vulnerable populations and receiving even consistent guidance and access to things like vaccines and other public health interventions. So Medi-Cal cuts have started to go into effect already, and harmful reforms contained in the state budget are scheduled to be implemented in January. Already, this and other changes are having a chilling effect on patients as they fear receiving public benefits and healthcare in particular. Many patients are afraid to go to their doctor. So last year, thanks to you, Supervisor Joya and Sonia and your staff, we were able to create a one-year coverage program in Contra Costa County for low-income members of the community who earn too much to qualify for Medi-Cal but are ineligible for covered California subsidies. These are working people stuck in the middle, and there are many of them. This program was an extension of the basic healthcare program, which we call CARES 2.0, and it's been key in ensuring otherwise uninsured patients have access to the care they need and deserve without bankrupting them or the community health centers that have continuously served them over time. So the funding was for 1 year. It runs out November 30th, so we have 7 weeks before that and before ahead of the other major cuts that are going to take effect. So I just, we very much hope to work with you using ARPA, the Chevron funds, other sources to find a simple and rapid way to expand that successful model so it can also help provide coverage for county residents who lose their Medi-Cal, whether due to immigration eligibility changes, work requirements, administrative barriers, or other factors that we anticipate, unfortunately, coming around the corner. So thank you for the grant process you're describing. We're really looking forward to working with your team and our other partners to provide, to help find solutions for this and to, as you say, close health disparities in the county. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for the work of all the great community-based clinics we have. I know as you say, we've worked in the past. We'll look at other potential funding sources. Knowing the cuts that are going to happen to all of our systems are going to have some negative impacts, severe impacts.
Good. Hi. Hi, Supervisor Joya. Debbie Toth with Choice and Aging. And hello to all the community members. I'm here tonight because we had a closure of the only adult day healthcare center in West Contra Costa County serving frail elders and adults with a variety of different disabilities that put them at risk for placement in skilled nursing facilities. And it's a resource desert for this population that has multiple chronic conditions. And there's 2 options for them. They become homeless or they get institutionalized. Neither of those is a good option and not the way that we should treat people in our community who have disabilities or our elders. We have done what we can to provide transportation to get folks from West Contra Costa to Central Contra Costa where we have adult day health care, and it's worked in some cases, but for others, people with late stage dementia can't bear those transportation times. We have brought support groups out to Richmond in the faith-based community, African-American support groups, bereavement support groups, just trying to do what we can. It's not enough. And I don't know what it looks like. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. We have self-funded from our own fundraising to provide these support groups out here. As you know, we did mobile vaccine clinics and hit Richmond in the low-income senior community as well as the faith-based community. And we want to continue supporting our elders and people who need support. But when their only option is to have their family member enroll in PACE, then they lose the income that they have from their in-home support service worker who's a family member that helps pay the rent. So it's a pretty dire situation for folks, and we want to be partners with you in figuring out how we can live with dignity for our elders, for their caregivers, for their families, particularly where you've lost this huge support service for folks living with this kind of condition. I also want to echo the comments. I'm very concerned about healthcare, not only all of the things that were just mentioned, but the Medi-Cal asset test was reinstated. It'll be effective in January, and there are going to be a bunch of people falling off of Medi-Cal for that reason, not at the federal level, but at the state level because of that asset test. So we are going to have to wrap around as community in new and better ways and get creative, and I'm here to work with you. I also have been to CoBiz. I love that place. It's amazing. I think having support dollars to bring people together to bust isolation, because that is a killer, is a really brilliant idea. And I think that I'm really happy that you're hosting this community event so you can hear these needs. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to have to go now into the dinner meeting that I'm here for. My staff, I've been at every one of these in person. Now my staff are there and taking everything down. We are going to be putting a summary together of all the input we have received. So I just want to note that and use those as we're putting together a grant application process. So I am turning it over, Sonia, to you and Robert. And I know we'll field it. Sounds like most of what we're getting are input. If there's any questions, my staff will answer them. If they can't, we will get back to you on them. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. I say we've had now probably we're going to have close to probably 150, 200 people have given input at all 5 town hall meetings. So it's really successful. We appreciate that. Sonia, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Joya. We'll continue here in the room, and then we'll soon go to Zoom.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Lorna Thompson, and I am a part of an organization. It's called Robinson Weeks Robinson, and we've given away scholarships for over 30 years. The scholarships are to provide financial and academic assistance to underserving, financially needed, and scholastically deserving students located in the West Contra Costa Unified School District. We are pursuing or intending to pursue studies in who are pursuing or intending to pursue studies in medicine, health science, and related paraprofessional occupations. I am the outreach person for Robinson Weeks Robinson, and that's what I needed to make you aware of, that we want to give away scholarships to young men and young women in the West Contra Costa area. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Always a lot of energy around helping young people be able to succeed. Thank you, Laura.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ian Burrell, a longtime resident of San Pablo, and I've been a health equity advocate for over 20 years, specifically looking at the barriers to health resources. And a lot of times that has to do with information. I love communication and have been doing PR and communication for many years as well. When I think about the core team, and I know they're part of the funding and they're out there doing the outreach, there's a piece I'd like to recommend. And a lot of that, yes, they're giving wellness services, yes, they're that piece, but there's the identification piece. That has a lot to do with self-esteem as well. So when you don't have your ID, when you don't have your social security number, when you're not able to be identified, that also is a wellness piece as well, because it uplifts, it shows identity, and there's a connection. In addition to that, we all know about the real ID, and we have to let folks know that is not a barrier, actually. It's not required, it doesn't prevent, but the miseducation of that, folks think I can't get the real ID. And also it's attached to some stigma around DNA. So my recommendation and suggestion would be around the core team, increasing some of the services to really connect that whole wraparound on the identity side. Social security numbers, IDs, some are veterans. Do they know how to get to the veteran building and get identified and get connected. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And just a reminder, everyone, our voices always matter, but they really, really matter in this space. That's what this is about. There's dollars behind it. The context is always great. I'm so glad the way you did that, because there's the context, but then there's very clear what we recommend to do. And that's part of it also. Very well done. We have here, and anyone else who would like to speak. Wonderful.
I'll be really brief. I am always amazed that we don't do more preventative work. This will reduce the need to have people go to the hospitals all the time, and the increased cost of Medi-Cal and just hospital visits. I would like to see some of this money fund some preventative programs to help our youth and our elders. What can they do to prevent them from going to the hospital, to the emergency all the time? So prevention, it would be my first take, and I hope that you would consider funding programs that focus on prevention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also, I want to remind everyone that Ronnie's taking great notes in the back. And if you forget what you were going to say, or you don't feel comfortable sharing, you could tell him, you could give him a note, you could send us an email. We'll take the feedback all the ways.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shawnee Bennett, and I am the Executive Director and CEO of Melanin Unlimited. We are a nonprofit organization that provides services for women and girls in the community. I am in the West Contra Costa Unified School District. I have done a cohort at Mount Talvin Elementary, and I am in talks of doing some more work there in the after-school program. Of course, funding is being cut, so of course, that put up a barrier for me to be able to provide services for our community and for these young ladies. We, as a grassrooted, self-funded nonprofit providing inner beauty, self-love, mental wellness, mindfulness programs to marginalized youth and families in West Contra Costa Unified School District, and partnering with CoBiz Richmond as one of our hosted venues where we host our workshops. I want to know what capacity building opportunities, funding partnerships, and mentorship resources will be available for Melanin Unlimited to expand our capacity and stability to continue to serve the community and the young ladies that we serve. We will be hosting a workshop coming up on the 19th at CoBiz. It's called Act Woke. It's merging acting, different forms of art, and emotional intelligence, mental wellness, meditation, just forms of art together. And it's not only for girls, it's for the family, any age. So come out, community. We would love to get support on this. We are self-funded again. I work in the different school districts to raise money to pour back into my nonprofit. I work in San Francisco and here. So please support Melanin Unlimited.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. CoBiz and many others in the house strong tonight. That's great. And I would encourage you to think about a specific funding opportunity for a particular program that might really make sense for us. And we're ready to take that feedback when you have it. Thank you. I see the gentleman here. I see there. Let's go.
Thank you for having me. My name is Orbay Hagos. I live in El Sobrante since 2000. My organization name is Community Health and Wellness. Welcome to serve the people, but mainly focusing on Eritrean and Ethiopian residents in the Bay Area. There are over 20,000 Eritrean specific in the Bay Area, Alameda County and Contra Costa. Over the years, there has been many initiatives, projects, and events to help our community. Our organization, Community Health and Wellness, is community-based, organized, run by the volunteers to fill in the gap in service of community needs. I myself started a peer-supported program for elderly seniors in April 2017. Over the years, we have been expanded providing weekly food pantries and mental health supports for the refugee and the immigrants. We serve seniors through exercise, community health, awareness, and socialize. Every Thursday, we have 65 seniors gathered in the community exercise. We also serve food pantries every Saturday since 2020. At the time of the COVID, we distributed food pantry to District 1, especially on the Petrorio area. We also like to serve the Eritreans and the Ethiopians community in Contra Costa County, especially in District 1, the same as I did in Alameda County. And thank you. I appreciate.
Thank you so much for that. And I see we go here, we get there.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Yendi Rebollo. I'm the Executive Director of West Contra Costa Meals on Wheels, serving frail seniors above the age of 60. We are being impacted by budget cuts. We are a small nonprofit, 501c3 certified. Being that most of our seniors are located in the Iron Triangle here in Richmond, we are very necessary for their basic needs. We sometimes are the only social aspect or interaction that these seniors get. They're often isolated due to illness, disabilities, and are homebound. We deliver approximately 17,000 meals a month on average, and we would like to secure funding that is also external, that is not just tied to the county. And I would love to work with all of you as well to see if there's any collaborative grants that maybe we can apply to together to secure funding. As you all know, we serve under-resourced and underrepresented communities. We are being impacted by budget cuts, like I mentioned, and increased business licenses and insurances. So any support that anybody in this room or John Joya's office can provide, even just sending us a grant that you guys come across, would be a great support. Thank you all.
Excellent comments. Thank you. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. Looks like we have at least a half an hour left, so there's gonna be ample opportunity for everyone to share. Also, I want to remind everybody there's Fina's Pizza in the back. Grab those boxes on your way out. That's really delicious pizza.
Hello. Pizza. Hi, my name's Kristen Lobos, a longtime Richmond resident. I just moved to San Pablo 2 months ago. So I would like to talk about addiction treatment. I am the care coordinator and a substance use disorder counselor for Ujima Family Recovery Services. We have a women's residential program right here on Church Lane. We're a nonprofit with a contract with Contra Costa County Behavioral Health Division of Alcohol and Other Drugs Division of Behavioral Health. And I work at the outpatient program about 5-6 blocks down here on San Pablo Avenue in Richmond. So I don't know if people are aware, we have one men's residential program, West Care, that has detox for men in Richmond. We have one women's residential program here on Church Lane and one outpatient program. I'm talking about in our West County area, right? John Joya's district. One outpatient program serving men and women. We have 2 counselors, 1 care coordinator, me. I'm actually counselor and care coordinator right now because we're down a counselor. And if we're at max capacity, we have a relapse prevention group with up to 12 people and a intensive outpatient up to 12 people for 2 counselors. That's 48 people we're serving for our whole area of West Contra Costa County. And these are for our community and neighbors and friends who are on Medi-Cal. That's not a lot of treatment that we have in our area. I would love to see more treatment in general, but also what about specifically for transitional age youth? I have clients on mental health diversion. They're trying to comply. A lot of them are younger. There's not really a program that I think really serves their needs. I could go on and on. I just really wanted to bring it up because addiction treatment is so important, and more than ever, really, people are really at risk right now with everything else, all the other pressures, all the fears, all the things going on. We're just seeing an increase in drug and alcohol use. So it just felt like I needed to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristen, and thank you for the double duty that you do. I know these are tough times. I have one here. I don't have others, so get your comments ready. There we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xavier, and I am a 12-year-old, and I am also the ambassador and co-founder of Melanin Unlimited. Recently, I've created an app called Herd Power. As a young girl in middle school, I see a lot of girls around my age who have a hard time building up their self-esteem, suffering in silence, comparing themselves to others on social media, and just not loving themselves. Basically, not walking in their confident, not walking in their element. So, this app, Her Power, will become your digital wellness companion for self-love, confidence, and daily reflections. The Her Power apps begin with a self-love assessment, so join thousands of girls and women building confidence, practicing self-care, and celebrating our journey of personal growth. In Her Power, we have little sessions like daily inspirations, basically beautiful affirmations to start your day and love yourself with confidence. Next, we have our confident journaling, which is a safe space for reflection, growth, and self-discovery. Next, we also have our mood boards, which express your feelings, which express today's feelings through colors, moods, and visual you. Also, with our mood board, there's a little camera where you can take a selfie of your mood and just, hey girl, hey, selfie. Next, we also have our daily challenges where you can just see your basically like reflect on the things that's going on. Also, we have our progress together, the progress that we're making together. So during the app, you go through all the little sessions and then you check your progress. So the only reason why I really wanted to do this app is just so I can see young girls in my community love on themselves, look in the mirror every day and just know that they're that girl. And this app is also for women. I want you guys to love yourself and know who you truly are. So thank you guys.
Thank you. I think I'm downloading that app right now.
I want you guys to support Her Power and also Melanin Unlimited. We want to make our community better and a safer place and just a place to love yourself and know who you truly are. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna just make an announcement as we round up the last questions here in the room. For those who are joining us by Zoom, we're gonna go to you soon. So if you wanna make a comment, please raise your hand. There's a function, let's see, where do they find that? Oh, there's a little hand symbol at the bottom of your screen, and please click that if you'd like to make a comment. Okay, any more in here?
Yes, we have right here.
Last couple?
The last couple in the room, we'll take those right away. And just when you're ever feeling defeated, demoralized, it's a tough time and so forth, there are young people who are creating apps that are making the world a better place. That is awesome. Way to go.
Hi, I'm Sandra Castañeda. I'm the planning manager for the city of San Pablo. And I understand that Supervisor Joya explained that all the cities in West County, as well as the incorporated areas, are eligible for this funding. And there's the less than $50,000 short grants, small grants, and more than $50,000 larger grants. But I was wondering if you have anything else to add on how can we ensure that the 1 million would be distributed equitably across all of the cities and all of the incorporated areas of the county to make sure that, the whole West County can take advantage of the funding and not just one concentrated area.
I think that's also what we're looking for feedback on today. So if you have thoughts about how that process should go, we'd love to hear your feedback. Then we're starting with these town halls. We're doing a pretty robust community process right now. This is our 4th town hall, plus we've done some small focus groups, and we've taken notes from other gatherings that other community organizations have organized, just because that's what they're doing. And so we've been able to get feedback from those. So this is a pretty robust community process. And so we want to continue to center community members, especially impacted by the health and economic disparities. So if you have ideas as we're thinking about setting up our grant process, please provide that feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the pizza. First of all, I didn't have the energy to give a comment before that, but now I do.
Pizza power.
My name is Matt, and I am here from Contra Costa Senior Legal Services. And I just had an idea that I think has never been had by anyone before me, which is that what if agencies and nonprofits were to work together? I think that's a great idea. I just had it. No one has ever had it before me. Part of the reason I think of this is that I work with some of the best free attorneys in the world, I think, and I've tested every single free attorney in the world. So I know mine are the best. But you don't need an attorney every day. There's things you need every day. You need self-empowerment every day. Am I right? Yes. And you need food every day. But you don't need an attorney every day. But when you need an attorney, you actually really need an attorney. So that's the perspective that I bring from the world of free attorneys and from the world of collaboration. So I would love to work with any group here that thinks there might be a room for collaboration.
Thank you so much for that. So often what's obvious to us has to be reminded and acted upon. So that was really good of you to bring that up. Annie King Meredith.
Thank you, Robert. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because that was part that was sent to me and I didn't get a chance to mention it. So we have a North Richmond MOU and the stakeholders of it's many. And they're writing out and they're working in collaborations now, as you just spoke. So I just wanted to actually share that also for looking at funding in order to do what we need to do as necessary for North Richmond and the surrounding areas. The other thing is that I wanted to mention was the support of the economic development that has been going on. And Supervisor Joya did touch upon that for the housing. We are working with Housing Authority, Contra Costa Housing Authority with the Los Deltas. I'm not going to go all into that. You can go online and look that up and see what it's about. The other thing I have to mention our living levy and what West County Wastewater is doing with the clean and green. I'm not going to expound on that, but remember, go online, look up West County Wastewater Clean and Green. We are having a project that will be cutting down on the emissions that's going into the atmosphere. And we're looking at changing that and cutting down and saving 93% of the emission. So that is working right now. And our levy, we have to look at our levy. 30 years from now, part of North Richmond will be flooded. Not only that, but our environmental service for sewage, that is our West County wastewater, it will be impacted also. So if you would like to, please look up those two projects and it'll give you an idea. It is necessary. It is really necessary for our community's health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie, and thank you for your lifetime of service in North Richmond. It's a wonderful place in part because of what you've done there. Thank you. And we need to move to Zoom. And so, Tanya, are you going to queue it up or?
Sure. Thank you everyone on Zoom for your patience. I will be calling people as I see them with their hands raised. So right now, I will call Latifa, then Audrey, then Jolene, then La Trinity, and then an iPhone. So Latifa, I'm gonna allow you to talk. You can unmute yourself now.
Great. Good evening. My name is Latifa Abdullah. I am the Community Engagement Manager for the North Richmond Farm. And one of the things I do is to convene a Community Advisory Committee monthly. And so I'm actually just coming out of this month's meeting and I wanted to share their comments. Let me just get to the screen. All right, so here are the comments from the Community Advisory Committee, and this is made up of, one moment, made up of Richmond, San Pablo, North Richmond residents, CSA members, and okay, so tonight, so one of the North Richmond residents mentioned having a laundry and a gas station in North Richmond. San Pablo resident mentioned farming as an option for food security. She would like to see Black and African American residents have avenues to learn about gardening and farming, learn about agriculture through urban tilth. She says that sometimes programs are funded, but she wants to make sure that outreach is included. So sometimes the resource is there, but the outreach is maybe not properly funded. And then the last comment we had was an expansion of the tea and herbs project for respiratory health. So our Just Transition team does the herbal respiratory kits. And so there was a suggestion tonight. Jory, she lives in North and East for an expansion of that project. Thank you.
Thank you, Latifa. I will go next to Audrey. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm Audrey Neiman. I'm the president of St. Vincent de Paul in El Sobrante at St. Callista's Church. And there is a St. Vincent de Paul in every community. And one of the things that we do is we try to prevent homelessness. So we go out, people call us for help, and we go out in twos and visit the people and see what crisis brought them to the situation they're in. And so we need more funding to help people with their back due rent, with their PG&E, with their water. These are the things that when people can't pay these items, they end up in the homeless situation. So it's everyone, we've said it so often, how many are just one crisis away from homelessness. And there are just so many people. We see it in our food lines at the food pantry that we do twice a week. The numbers keep growing and growing. People need more funding in order to cover all their needs with rents going up, with PG&E costs rising, and the water situation as well. So I would like to advocate for some of the funding to be set aside to prevent homelessness with the St. Vincent de Paul conferences working as we do with those in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolene. So, Jolene, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Jolene Lafayette, and I'm with Loaves and Fishes of Contra Costa.
I am one of the co-executive directors. I've been with Loaves and Fishes for over 20 years. I'm here tonight to advocate for food insecurity. Loaves and Fishes, we've been in the county since 1983. Over those 20 years that I've been with them, I've seen a tremendous need. And like just for example, during the pandemic, we were serving 680 meals a day. And in today's world, we're serving 3,000 meals a day. With that, we have reached full capacity and we are unable to provide any meals to other nonprofit partners, any service organizations that have come to us and asked for hot, nutritious meals. Loaves and Fishes, we are very good at what we do. We serve a nutritious meal, but we also now have a pretty robust food pantries in each of our dining rooms, just because of partnering with other nonprofits such as White Pony Express and the Food Bank. We just recently purchased a building in Antioch, and our goal with that building is to serve the entire county. We are currently serving more East County. We will be serving Concord in the next couple months. And our goal in the future is to serve West County. We know there's a great need there for food insecurity. With our new building, it'll be our new central kitchen. And it's quite a big fundraising push for our organization. And we are asking all 5 supervisors to support us. We are currently not in West County, but if we had our new central kitchen, we would possibly be able to move our services into West County. So we're just asking Supervisor Goya to consider a portion of his funds towards the future expansion of our services into West County. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to La Trinity.
Hello, my name is Trinity Gully. I'm here as a North Richmond resident, but I do work with Richmond Community Foundation. I just wanted to say that, to highlight a lot of what's been said about North Richmond and the lack of resources. I've been here my whole life, and it is crazy to realize as I get older that we don't have any gas stations out here. We don't have a grocery store, even though I know that's been in the talks and in the works about making one, but we have 3 storage centers inside of North Richmond. And I do know that there has been works with housing, such as the new houses that are being built right now. But I do want to acknowledge the disparities and how they show up inside of our communities. The lack of care is affecting us, and especially during this time, we need to focus on our most vulnerable communities, and North Richmond is one of our most vulnerable communities. I shouldn't have to go to Pinole for affordable food or a better grocery store. We should have one. So yes, that is all I wanted to say. I wanted to keep it short.
Thank you. We will go on to iPhone. Guess you can unmute yourself.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Susana Miramontes. I am one of the parents at Verde Elementary School. This school has been there for a long time. We're talking about 20 years. I am part of the PTA member. I'm a member staff. I have worked with Martha. And we've been really, I think it's been almost 5 years, 4 years. I think the school just itself is really in a hazardous zone. When I say hazardous zone, we have Chevron, we have the Richmond, sanitary services. So I am concerned of our kids, because kids usually they go there
they breathe all this air. And I'm not talking only for the kids, but I'm talking everybody that lives in North Richmond, or we know what the smell is, especially we have like contamination all over. But my main concern of the Verde School as a parent and as a community, because community has been part of our school. I know Martha has worked with another organization. I know Urban Health is also, working with us as staff members, and they have reached out to a lot of communities. So as a parent, we have been asking for a shade. Why is it so important of a shade for the school? Because I think the layout of the structure of the school has no shade. Actually, on weathers, like hot weathers, and we don't even have plants, and out in the playground outfields, we don't have no plants, anything like that to help the children. There's also other things that I would like to come and address, but hopefully my main concern right now that we've been asking, we have met with John Joa before. We have met with a couple of people, and I feel that we've been overlooked and in the back burning. We have not really, I don't know what we have to do to really have them really focus. Yes, I know there's other concerns about health, which I think that is very important. All what I have heard is very important, especially in the health environment, everything being costly right now, everything going up, prices, etc., kind of thing. So my priority right now, if we could have at least one a little bit of their grant to help the environment and to help have better, benefits for the children, that will benefit a lot the children, and the environmental. And that's my main concern right now. There's a couple of other concerns, but like I said, hopefully John Joe will, look at us and not overlook, because we have met with him before, and really, really have a little bit of that grant for us to share for our school. Like I said, I think the school is really awesome. Have worked there for really been there for a lot of years. Have worked really with the community. Verde School, I think it's really outcome itself. And all the families in Verde Elementary School are very low income. We're in a base in a very low income. So hopefully he could hear us out, and and we really, it's a structure that I'm concerned about. So I think it will benefit not only the students, but also the community environment all around. And hopefully, they could really not overlook us and really start hearing our voice as a parent. My name, like I said, is Susana Miramontes, and I do have a child that goes to Verde School. And that's pretty much it. You guys have a good afternoon.
Thank you. We are gonna ask people to please try to be brief with your comments to allow for others to speak as well in the room. So I do see 3 more hands on Zoom. So I'm gonna do Eve, Sarah, and then iPhone, and then we're gonna move back to room participants.
And I just also want to remind folks that we are recording this meeting and also recording everything that you're putting in the chat, or if you're typing stuff in the Q&A as well.
Eve, are you there? If not, I will move on to the next.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wearing 2 hats. One is the Miyawaki Urban Forest, which would address some of the concerns that people had mentioned about the environment. It's a plan that was developed by a fellow named Miyawaki, and it's something you plant native trees and plants, and within 3 years it can take care of itself, and it helps clean the air, it helps the groundwater situation, it helps mental health, and it just takes a small area. So apparently it's very possible. And then my other hat is I am on the board of directors of an organization called MAW, Media Artworks, and we promote film about the environment and environmental problems and things of that sort. So Those are my comments. You need a Miyawaki forest in Richmond and West County. Yes.
You, Eve. We're gonna move on to the next two participants. Sarah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, all right, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Gerdian, and I want to speak today as a resident around the urgent needs we're seeing amongst so many of our low-income communities and underserved communities in the county, San Pablo being one of them, with a pretty large immigrant population. And these issues are specifically around food insecurity, housing instability, and also the need for rental assistance. There's we know that there are many families struggling in our communities. They're maybe one paycheck away, one ICE raid away, or one emergency away from losing everything. And because of our, their immigrant status, many of them may not be able to access public aid when crisis hits. And so that's why I'm urging for our local community-based organizations that serve San Pablo residents to come together and establish a rapid response fund. I don't think I'm aware of one, and a flexible fund that can provide direct cash assistance to families affected by ICE or sudden loss of income. Other partners in the city of Richmond are already doing this. And also the city of Richmond is considering setting aside a portion of its $1 million towards immigrant legal services fund to support that work. And I really believe that San Pablo families deserve the same level of care and protection. And so again, we cannot wait for another crisis to act. The storm is here. And so let's make sure that our immigrant neighbors have a lifeline when they need it the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And we're going to our last Zoom participant, iPhone 5.
Aló, buenas noches. Mi nombre es, sí,
Buenas
buenas noches.
noches.
Mi nombre es Marta Nieto. Yo soy el trabajador comunitario de la Escuela Verde y la razón que voy a hablar español es porque me expreso mejor en español. Pero sí quiero yo hablar acerca de lo que habló Susana Miramontes acerca de la sombra de la Escuela Verde. Creo que nosotros somos una comunidad de bajos recursos y los niños realmente no siento que son tratados con dignidad cuando no están teniendo este servicio que es muy importante para la escuela. La escuela está formada por una comunidad que siempre quiere cooperar y ayudar a la escuela a todos los padres y nos reunimos para tener diferentes actividades comunitarias, pero la verdad no tenemos una sombra que nos ayude a protegernos del mal clima, el sol, la lluvia. Y realmente siento que la Escuela Verde merece ese apoyo porque los niños son el futuro de nuestra comunidad también. Así que yo espero que John Joya nos apoye y nos ayude a tratar a los niños más con dignidad, que eso es lo que nosotros nos merecemos. Gracias.
Okay. Is that our last one, Tanya? Okay. Well, almost right on time. It's 7:31. Look at us. Again, I'm Sonia Bustamante, Supervisor Joya's Chief of Staff. I want to thank everyone on Zoom who attended tonight. That's probably the most folks we've had on Zoom so far in our town halls. We had about 40 people at one point. So thank you everyone on Zoom. Thank you everyone here in the room for coming tonight. I know it takes logistical planning and arrangements to try to get somewhere and get some time, especially in the evenings. So we so appreciate everyone on Zoom and in person. I also want to just give a shout out to our interpreters tonight. We had an interpreter team. Thank you so much. The staff and Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice is here, Peter Kim, and he lent us the interpretation equipment. And then of course, Vice Mayor for being here with us and hosting. We really appreciate you supporting us, and our tech team in the back. We have Raul on Zoom and Elena here from CCTV, and of course, Gussie at the city. So thank you so much, everybody, for it takes a village really to put these events on. So we appreciate everybody. And I think we're gonna close out. I also just wanna, again, remind everybody that Supervisor Joya said that we are going to do a grant process. He's going to take summary of what we learned from these town halls. He's going to talk about it on October 21st, whereas that's where the supervisors will convene again to talk about this subject and talk about their plans and what they're planning to do moving forward. So stay in touch with us. If you didn't get to make your comment today, or you didn't get to put it in the chat or write it down, this is not the last chance. You can email us, you can call us, Facebook message us, whatever, slide into the DMs. We're open to always. Okay. For those in the room, if you have other thoughts, Ronnie's in the back. He's been writing, transcribing your comments, and so he has them on sticky notes. You want to add to that, you're more than welcome to do that before you leave tonight. Thank you, everyone, so much. Woo!